what
is
he's
he
got
really?
going on. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice.
He's in the reserves.
Oh, he's in the reserves. That counts.
So yeah,
It's more than I'm doing.
Wow.
yeah, you don't get to pick those weekends.
Mm-mm. Weekdays.
I need
Yeah,
St. Patty's Day
whatever
off.
it is.
John, we were complimenting you on the last podcast.
Oh, thank you.
We had a.
He listened. He knows.
I was gonna say he should
Yeah,
know
he
that.
seems kind of
He
surprised.
should know that, right?
Just these two sitting here. I didn't know they'd be complimenting.
Every time I call you, you say you're listening to the podcast, dude.
I did listen to the podcast.
First one was your favorite episode.
It was
right?
good.
Yeah.
It was good. I was actually laughing for a solid 25 minutes.
Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Surprised about it too. He's surprised he was laughing. How about that?
So we had a big meeting last June with shrimp and beers and lenders and advertisers and
Cooks.
insurance agents and cooks. And you were there. And then we all went to Corey's and had steak and lobster, and you went back to work.
Yeah.
So
Gotta do it.
gotta
man.
do it, exactly. Yeah, that's why we had you on the show, though, because it would have been so easy to just put off whatever you had on your plate till tomorrow. But it wasn't happening that night. I don't know what you were closing. I know it was something out of town. You had to get something to California.
Yeah.
But
It was- yeah.
I think that we need to propose, first and foremost, that we have another steak and lobster night.
I was just gonna say, dude, you
This
need to
time
get
you
your
get the
dad on the
invite.
line.
Oh, yeah, I'll
Tell him
be
to
there.
get some more sent our way.
Exactly.
Just leave
yeah.
him on the front
We
porch
need to-
again.
It's been a year.
Oh, lobster's good.
We
too.
need to find it. We need to
Yeah,
find a
man.
night where you can actually get away from your desk all evening. I know they're few and far between, and we'll have you over. We'll have a barbecue, the four of us. I think that's the number one on the agenda.
And I mean, just to clarify, that last time that we had steak and lobster, we literally had to, right? Because
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
we couldn't just let those lobsters' lives go to waste. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let them die in vain. We had to
So-
do that.
so
we had to.
A
So
client had sent my dad a box of lobsters from Boston,
Oh, that's
and
right. Yeah.
not knowing that my dad was going out of town. So I was at work, and he called me, and he said, "Look, there's a box of lobsters at the house. You got to do something with them." I didn't know what to do. Thank God we had Chef Matt was just happened to be coming through. Brought
True.
a bunch of fermented shrimp and everything else, so we snacked. And then, yeah, he showed us how to break down lobsters. That was a good night. I still got all the pictures from that night.
Chef Matt killed it too. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was.
So yeah, that's got to happen. Barbecue, my house, Corey's house, Colin's house, your house. Doesn't really matter to me, but I think that we need to get that done.
We're due for one anyway. We haven't
are.
done one in a couple months.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
some other housekeeping
about it.
stuff though. First of all, shout out Recess.
Yeah, let's get into that just real quick because I need a little synopsis
Refresher.
of everything going
Same.
on for Shirley.
So Recess had their final night at the old location,
Mm-hmm.
but then they announced 2 brand new locations.
Right.
So was gonna go up there and congratulate the GM and Jeff with Josh Wagman, who never showed up. So this is a formal call out of Josh Wagman.
What's up? See if he's listening.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't talk about it, be about it. I thought it'd be nice to go up there and shake hands. He wasn't about it.
Was that
so-
the day you texted us?
Yeah. Yeah, I needed
What do we
a
say?
wingman.
And he
mean what
confirmed
you
that
say
day?
and say what you mean. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
mean what he said. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
He confirmed
exactly.
that day and then didn't show?
And then didn't show.
Oh.
I know, brutal, right?
That's like a frozen shoulder. That's not even a
Yeah.
cold
That's all
shoulder.
right.
you
I
dig?
mean, we got
That's
his
rough.
back, so I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah, it's
but,
cool. It's cool.
So yeah, 2 locations. We're gonna do an event with them.
Do they have a timetable? Sorry for
Dude,
keep
nobody has a
interrupting, but
timetable
yeah, I
right
dig
now.
that.
I mean,
dig that.
I'll get a hold of Jeff and just see what his opinion on it is gonna be. I have to think that they're aiming for end of summer, early fall.
I mean, very smart. Now's the time. I mean, this is what the winners do right now. You know what I'm saying? Now's the time that you start renovating, do whatever you got to do, use your downtime wisely. So I think it's a genius
Especially
move.
with so many
It's
restaurants either failing or people opting out to continue.
Right, so they just said, fuck it, let's double down.
That's the risk taker mentality, right?
Bingo.
Like that's what gets you paid.
Right, straight
You
up.
know, is to understand the circumstances that you're in and then go ahead and double down, quite literally.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. I think they're going to be successful no matter what environment we're in because they have such a cool concept.
yeah.
So I'm glad that we took another step towards.
And I
towards
mean,
the
again,
balance
people
process.
that are thriving right now, like we've talked about in the group chat in the past, it's like, this is an easy excuse for people just to
Roll over.
toss it up and say, yeah, screw 2020, whatever, I'll wait until next year, wait until everything passes, whatever.
There's
But the
no
people
telling.
that are thriving right now, I mean, if you can do it now, for lack of a better term, you know what I'm saying, then when can't you? So it's a good time for people like that. So that's what's up. Shouts out Recess for that.
Gotta work twice as
So
hard
did
right
they
now.
close one location then just open up 2?
Yeah, you cut one head off, 2 more appear, dude.
Yeah.
One
Damn.
Hydra.
It's like weeds.
Yep, exactly.
That's crazy.
That's serious.
Yeah.
Other housekeeping, August 10th, we got the Buddy Fund coming in. Corey and Thomas. August 24th, Pedal the Cause. Super excited for both of those, especially Pedal the Cause with their virtual event they got coming up, just to kind of see how they're providing value. Next thing on the list, Corey and Colin, each of you pick a number 1 through 10.
6.
Oh, 7.
Colin's got it. So my insurance agent quit his job with State Farm. So Colin's going to run...
Nick in the morning.
He's going to quote me tonight is what's going to happen if he wants my business. That's a quick turnaround. John, before the show, we were talking about what your turnaround is. What's your turnaround as long as you have undivided attention?
Undivided attention, pre-approval, 15 minutes.
15 minutes to get a loan.
Damn.
I expect the same out of you.
I didn't know you were working for Geico.
No.
What
is Geico?
Save you $15?
$15 in 15 minutes, dude.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm not Geico.
So, and I don't want to.
Don't dilute the brand like that.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it was easier just to do a coin toss between the two of you. So, you'll get me.
Hey, it's fair. You're a pain in the ass, anyways.
Well, you're not wrong. You'll get Nicole. You'll run Nicole's, and then you run Nicole's parents too. So we'll see. And the only reason I'm doing this, I'm actually happy with what I'm paying. I'm happy with the coverage. Zach was always really reliable. Always answered my calls. Communication was at an all-time high, whether it was 9 in the morning or 9 at night. The problem was when he quit, he went to go work for AB. Couldn't turn it down. I don't know how State Farm really runs their business, but Zach wasn't necessarily my agent on paper.
Yeah, he was a
Right.
producer.
Right.
And when Zach quit, that agent never reached out. So I would think that if I was inheriting a book of business and I told you two, you three, that I didn't call each person on the list and introduce myself, you'd be severely disappointed with
Yeah.
me.
Absolutely.
Probably a big list to go through too. And you would think that actually, how long was he doing it? Was he doing it for 3-4 years?
Yep, I'd say that was be a good estimate.
Yeah.
Is your renewal
Yeah.
up?
No, I just re-signed with them.
Yeah,
remember
I feel you.
podcast number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Okay, yeah, that's
something
right.
like
That's
that.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that if the renew's coming up and they didn't reach out particularly, I mean, again, they got a lot of, they got
When
a
did he
big book
quit?
to maintain most
A
likely.
couple weeks ago he quit, and he quit. He was not running a big book,
Yeah.
or he never would have picked up a second job that turned into a full job. So I think
Yeah. That's a
I
good
don't know
point.
how many people he has, but if it was less than 50, I should have got a phone call, and that's enough to where I
If
just
at
need
all.
somebody.
I
I just
mean-
need somebody that I know in my corner on that one. I think that's really important.
I'm saving that for the W section, but I just faced a very similar scenario, so I can definitely identify with you. Like you said, communication's key, number 1, 2, especially if you know you got a new agent, then yeah, it's definitely reassuring to have them reach out, especially if it's unsolicited and it's not around renewal time, to just let you know that they're doing everything to maintain your book.
Would have
You know
kept
what I'm
my
saying?
business.
Are you gonna make me your agent or what?
We'll get to that later as well.
And
I just need to know if I should put in the win section.
Here's the thing. I'm not an easy client either, and I know that. That's why I'm giving you my quotes right now. Sometimes I can't even tolerate myself. So.
Seems like a missed opportunity by that guy as well. Like, I'm not an insurance
Well, yeah,
guy,
no,
but that's
for
a
surely,
huge opportunity
exactly.
to get in, really make sure they understand who you are, how you work,
Yeah.
make sure their coverage is right, because you don't know. I mean, maybe you trusted the guy that left or
Exactly.
whatever, but
Right.
you could really have a good opportunity
And
there for a lot of
particularly
people.
And-
Yeah.
if it was unsolicited, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm
Yeah.
not a big fish, but I did refer my girlfriend and my girlfriend's parents to him, and they did save them a lot of money. I'm going to be honest, but I mean, you would think that if I spit out 2 referrals for you and you still don't know that I'm in your book of business,
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder what, if I'm important, and I know that if I go to Corey or Colin, I'm important. I can call them anytime, whatever, But
Well,
enough about me.
That and if he's been doing it for 4 years, there's some clients in there. Like State Farm doesn't keep you around for nothing.
You should
know?
call Zach.
And
you
with
should start
captive
poaching
agencies
people.
like
Yeah.
that, sometimes you just become a house account, for the lack of a better terms there. So, like, if one particular agent kind of took it upon himself, like your buddy did, because of the relationship between the two of you, maybe that's like you just said, he wasn't exactly your agent on paper, so then you just go back to being lost in the mix, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's definitely worth it to just
Not
shop it
trying
around
to do
at
that
the
when I
very
get in a
least.
car accident or my house floods or my house burns down or whatever.
Bingo.
But, yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on that one, but moral of the story is just pick somebody you know. Make sure you have somebody you know in the corner. We got to get to John's stuff.
All right, John.
Oh, boy.
Get in there.
Because
Oh, boy.
You're on, dude. Hot
This-
seat.
this
Just start
guy-
talking.
Oh, all right.
this guy works really, really hard. We knew that, but what we've been focusing on lately is working hard in this environment. So my boss, well, the owner of our company told me a long time ago, he said, look, when business is good, you got to work twice as hard and save, and when business is bad, you got to work twice as hard. So the moral of the story is like if your foot's not on the gas at all times, then you're slowing
It's
up.
like Tommy D says,
Yeah.
if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, exactly. And John's a gas on the foot on the gas type of guy, no doubt. So I'd really like to know how the environment of the world has affected your business for the better, for the worse, and what you've changed this year to continue to grow.
Yeah, so COVID, man. COVID's been good things and bad things, really.
Two sides to every coin.
Yeah, absolutely. First is we're working from home, and right now I still live in a duplex. So I like own the duplex, so I only live in one side. I don't really have like an office.
Have you ever thought about selling it?
Yeah,
We get you a nice, quiet house. That's all I'm saying.
I'm hoping to rent it. I mean, that's what I'm hoping to do. We're gonna move out of there here soon, but man, like the working from home thing in general has been the hardest part. It's been really great because you get away from a lot of the distractions at work. Those 15-minute conversations with the people you don't care about.
Yeah.
My brother's niece's nephew's dog did this. All those conversations went to nothing, right? So that saved me.
That you're too nice to tell, like, hey, look, I don't have time for this shit. you know?
Exactly. And all of us will talk to that wall for 15 minutes.
Straight up, yeah.
And so
yeah.
if you got me in there, shit, you're 30 minutes, excuse me. But so that's been a tough part.
We condone cussing on here. It's
Okay,
okay.
I just didn't know.
It's okay.
We don't condone, I should
Yeah,
say. So
block that one
whatever.
out, sorry. So that's been the hardest part, really. Because it was great at first. I'm saving a lot of time. Made it way harder to sit on, like, where I'm sitting at home, same couch. And then you get off work, and you, like, try to shut it off, but you can't. And that's tough because you got to leave. I mean, I have to leave the house. I have to go run. I have to go play softball. I have to call somebody. Do something else besides what I was just doing. For the most part, great, though. And I guess...
Does that have anything to do with how you approached the shutdown? Because when I first heard that we were going to have a shutdown, I'm pretty ADD, and not like in a fun way, like medicated all my life type of ADD. But I was stripped of all my distractions in March, and I had a really good month. And then I felt my productivity kind of taper off because this whole quarantine lasted a little bit longer. Even just the shape of the world.
That is actually
lasted a
spot
little bit
on,
longer.
man. Spot on. Because I was able to notice how many distractions I had, and they were eliminated. Some of them were eliminated by themselves, but other ones, I knew what I was doing then. Because I couldn't do it for like 2 or 3 weeks there when they like shut everything down. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that ever again. That was a waste of my time, right? So I noticed that, but then just the monotonous of doing the same thing in and out every single day, staying at home, you start to drive yourself nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I gotta move. I've
Right.
got to be out seeing people like we all do.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean that
Like
drove
rhythm
me up
is
the
key,
wall.
but the same rhythm will, eventually drive you insane.
It
for
did.
surely, yeah.
It
But
did.
I like what you said about identifying those places where you see the lack of efficiency, because that's exactly what I did. I've been kind of moving towards working from home with my transition in general, and then when I got certified to be a personal trainer, it was literally the same week that everything happened, you know what I'm saying? And so like I was going to be reaching out to gyms and things anyways, and plus with the insurance aspect, so I was already looking at kind of balling that all up into one thing to be in as proficient as possible.
Right.
And then when I was just sitting my hands for a few weeks, things kind of became stagnant because everybody's concerned what's going to happen, nobody wants to go outside, this and that. So then you have that time in between. First of all, blocking things off is huge. I'm the biggest believer in just blocking your time, because then you know what you got to do. But the efficiency that comes from working at home also comes back to what you just said, the motivation. Like just switching settings and getting into an office environment will just put that fire under you that you don't exactly get when you're waking up, like you said, on the couch, and then you can just flip the laptop open and you're in your office, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So I think a big thing there, cheap plug, is finding a rhythm, getting that heart rate going sometimes, starting off
Paid
your day. I'm
conversation.
serious. I mean,
Paid
I had to do this.
advertising.
I had to do this with myself, for real. I make myself wake up at the same time every day, and the first thing I do is I work out until my heart rate hits a beats per minute that I know essentially is going to start making me productive. You know what I'm saying? So I know what my max heart rate is. I know what 60 to 80% of it is, and I know when I reach that and stay consistent with that for like a 5-10 minute span, I literally know. Like, so that's just a tip for people at home who are just trying to find motivation, air quotes, because you're never going to find motivation.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get yourself fired up, you can literally, basically statistically see on paper, okay, let me see, if I do this for 5 minutes, if I do this for 5 minutes, then you can just get the wheels turning a little more. Like, there's got to be a process, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to warm up the engine.
That's cool.
For surely.
I
So-
never thought about it like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's just
normally did it to handle stress, like maybe afterwards, but before and getting to that's some more scientific stuff I would know nothing about.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
Like,
would know
I mean,
about,
it's
like
a very
lifting.
rudimentary concept for surely, but like, I mean, the gist of it is that at one point in my life, if I had an hour to spare, right, what would I have done? I probably would have tried to take squeeze in like a 20, 30-minute nap if I was feeling exhausted. Now I literally do the exact contrary. Like, say I got a client in an hour and I'm just feeling bogged down, then I'll give myself a little 15, 20-minute sitter, and then about 20, 30 minutes before the client gets there, I'll go for a quick run, or I'll do a quick set, or do whatever to get my heart rate pumped back up so I can make sure that I'm performing maximally for them, right? Because I don't want them come in feel my energy being low.
Yeah.
So then that's how I figured out, like, okay, so this is not only for them. You can do this on a regular basis to pump yourself up when you're feeling yourself being in a bit of a rut. And right now, it's very hard when you're not switching settings and you're in the same place for the whole day, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a great way to get yourself going.
Absolutely.
I was
That's
actually
awesome.
going to ask you, John, if you had a morning routine like that. Corey just kind of segued into it, which is good.
So morning routine, slightly less healthy than Corey's.
Yeah. But you do
I-
something like the same every day.
Yeah. I do the same things every single morning, but it's all on my computer. So that's what I need. Like, I'll stretch, or I'll do something like that physical before I sit down. That's
Right.
just because I'm like, oh, I gotta sit there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then once I'm on my computer, I literally look at my bank account every single morning. I pull up my bank account. I pull up my TD Ameritrade. I pull up my retirement. Like, I keep track of that religiously.
If it ain't $1 million, you got to go to work.
Yeah.
It motivates me
Right.
every single morning
Yep.
because I know what I want it to look like, and it's not there
If
yet.
you still got a mortgage
great
and your
idea.
mother still has a mortgage, you're not working hard enough. You know, like, you
Straight
cannot
up.
take today off. You got to
Yep.
keep going. Exactly.
I wish I
do
had
the
a
same
mentor
thing.
for that type of thing, but
Right here, bro.
Honestly,
You're looking at him.
Yeah. This
how
is a
did-
mastermind, my friend.
When
Well,
did
I
you
was
start?
just-
When did you start doing that?
the minute that I got a job, I'm just obsessed with it. So
Yeah.
it's totally different. And so it's not just about the money, but it's like what the money says. Like, I need
Yeah.
to do well. I need to make it because it's what I've always wanted to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
And so-
When you're a numbers
Yeah,
guy, too, so that translates directly
exactly.
to your brain. You
Yeah,
can
it's not
see
about having nice
in
shoes or a
dollars.
nice car. To me,
It's a barometer for your
just-
personal growth.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's for like the future family and exactly where I should be and where I want to get by this age, and like I keep goals and all that in Excel.
I love that.
Honestly, just some really money nerd stuff that
So, as a
I've
guy,
never told anybody. Actually, so that's actually pretty
tough.
crazy.
There you
asking
go.
that.
As a
Everybody
guy-
Deep
listen.
insight, folks.
There it
we
is.
talked to Colin about this, I guess, on episode 2, but as a guy who does spend a lot of time networking, meeting with people face to face, when you're John Haberberger, I'd imagine that any conversation you have could be a potential lead. You never
Yeah.
know where these people are going to come from. Somebody's going to ask you what you're doing, how you're doing. How do you mitigate that? Like, since you don't have that form of social experience right now, what are you doing virtually? What are you doing on social media? What are you doing on your computer, phone calls, any of that to sort of keep business going since you don't get to shake hands and kiss babies?
Or do you
So-
even have time to do that right
Or do
now?
you have time right now? Yeah.
Well, so networking's tough right now. I mean, networking's super tough. So
It's not
you're-
tough, but it's tough right now.
Right. Yeah, just tough right now during COVID. And the way that I guess you would say is just take an interest in what people are talking about. Take an interest in them personally.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting on that couch all day and I'm trying to talk to Maggie, who is my girlfriend, as much as I can, but that's obviously going to drive her crazy
Shout her
too.
out.
Yeah,
Shout
shout
out
out to
Maggie.
Maggie there.
See if you're listening.
Yeah, Maggie
She's
on here?
listening.
What? Okay, so
Oh, you love her.
then so really it's like your current client and your last client is your next referral partner, right? And so that client becomes so interesting to me, not because I want to make money off of them, just because I like people. And I just want to know that I'm taking care of them, making sure that they're okay. And really, I just like people. So, I mean, you just talk to them. And once they realize that you're not this person that's going to
Sleazy
tell me no
salesman.
for a loan or yes for a loan, I'm just a person and I really want you to get that house. That's why I asked about it, right? I'm
Yeah.
asking you about the dog and do you have a room for the dog, not because I'm BSing you
because
just
you're being
because
because
I
you're
really
being
want
normal.
to know.
Yeah, because you're being normal. You know,
Exactly.
do you ever find that some people like? Because I get this a lot. Do you ever find that some? What?
You're not normal. You.
I was just gonna say, Cuzzy ran into this when we were at a funeral. I shit you not. But go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Go
Were
ahead.
you pitching at a funeral?
No.
No, I wouldn't
No,
write insurance at a
what I'm
funeral.
saying is like you get into those conversations like a different conversation the guy in the office next to you might get into. Like they might get on the phone, get the business they need, but I'm trying to like build a relationship a little bit, because like you said, the way you close it could tee you up for another a referral afterwards, right?
Right.
And then all you got to do is exceed those expectations that somebody else teed up for you. You know what I mean? And then you have yourself another client and another one after that. But do you ever run into a situation where, you know, maybe you're talking a little bit too much and somebody stops the phone? They're like, yo, what do you need from me?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's called wait,
Absolutely.
dude.
Yeah.
Why are you? Yeah. Why am I talking? Wait.
Exactly.
Why am I talking?
Exactly. So that's huge, right? So if they don't want to talk and they're not talking to me first, I don't talk.
Yeah.
You want an answer, and you can tell those people they're direct, they're extremely straightforward. They want to get straight to the point. You guys all know 'em.
Yeah.
So if it's that type of person, I just do my job because that's not a person that wants a relationship. However, you're actually building a relationship with that person by just
doing a
doing
good
what
job.
they want.
Yeah.
And those type of people are probably the people that value good work. You know, those are not the type of people who want to bullshit with you, but they do want to see an end result. They don't want to. They want answers right away. They don't want to hear, "I'll call you tomorrow." So if you just do a good job, maybe that's their form of communication, where they just appreciate hard work.
And
Those
that's a
type of those
twofold
type of people
approach.
will use you over and over too.
Right, exactly.
Because
Because
they know
I've,
they
They
won't
know,
have to deal
and then
with
they
it.
know it
I've
works.
explained this in the past that like sometimes I break it down to clients like, you know, again in the insurance world particularly, you don't dictate your own commissions, you know what I'm saying? You write it, especially as an independent agent, you find the most competitive everything they're looking for and you present it to them. And then there's a lot of people who just want to have a back and forth because they think it's some type of negotiation. And typically I cut straight through that and I just say, look, this is what it is.
It is
And
what
I've
it
been
is.
thanked for my candor
Well,
on
and you
multiple
can't
occasions.
negotiate.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just
Sure,
like,
yeah.
hey, thank you
You
for
can't
not BSing me.
negotiate.
Thank you for not giving me the runaround. I didn't understand. So I provide a type of transparency beyond just the coverages and everything else to say, like, look, I'll give you direct insight into how my commission statements work. You know, I write it, we get a check, that's it.
I tell
so,
people
you
that
know,
all
like,
the time.
so that's just what it is. But Cuzzy, on the
Oh,
other hand,
boy.
can just sometimes, like when we were at Knockout's dad's funeral, Ryan Fox, rest in peace, Mr. Fox. Remember when we met this gentleman and he
Wait,
said,
I was there.
yeah, remember
Yeah.
this? And he said, this guy, I'll talk to. It was almost like a good cop, bad cop. He said, he looked at me and he said, I'll talk to this guy. He said, this guy, he seems too nice. And I said, yo, literally, he's just too sincere. He's actually truly invested in what you have to say and he wants to know about you. But the
Right.
dude even took it like, why is this guy being so nice to me? What's he trying to sell? You know what I'm saying? So that's just like,
I
that's
thought about that, like, a
unfortunately
couple
something
weeks
that you can
after.
run into. You know?
I was
Probably
like,
didn't even
this
notice when
dude
it
must
happened.
have been running from something.
Straight up, straight up,
I
and
was
I'm
like, 'cause
telling
he was
you.
way too
And
paranoid
I was
about
over
me.
on the other. I was literally standing straight across from Cuzzy. I was just introducing myself to the guy, telling him how we were affiliated with Knockout. Obviously, we were getting some side eyes, and you know, just because nobody had ever met us before, so they weren't really sure why we were there to support our boy. What's up, Knockout? See if he's listening. And so you know, I was just giving quick one-word answers, just you know, doing my thing, just letting the guy know who we were, why we were there.
Colin's
Because
passing
he's,
out business
cause
cards.
he's asking him, you know, kind of like, what's he doing? I think the guy was telling us he was trying to, like, get in the song business or some stuff, and finally the guy just stopped, and he said, like, I don't know, man, this guy's a little too nice. I said, yo, that's that dude's biggest blessing and burden, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really does
So
care.
true.
Yeah.
He really
But
does
that only
care.
So
works.
true.
So that only works when you can go see people. So are you doing like any call blocking or anything right now? How are you reaching out to clients, or are you pretty much at the point where they're reaching out to you?
Right now is a little bit different. So right now rates all-time low, right?
Sure.
So
What are they at right now for a 30-year loan?
30-year loan, 2.625.
Woo!
Damn.
Yeah, 15-year, 2.25. I mean,
I got Justin's
and
attention.
that is almost across the board, depending on which lender you're talking to. And so it's to the point now where it's a lot of this way. And that stresses me out because I'm not going the other way, right? And what I mean by this way and that way is I'm not getting out to go find business or promote myself or talk to people as much as I normally would, and I like to do that.
Yeah.
So when there's so many people trying to come one way and, you know, you have the shoppers, you have this, you have that, it makes it a little tougher to really block the time. And so I want to block time, and I try to do that, but it almost is, my time blocking is just right now when that conversation starts and I know that I want to network with that person, I just forget what's going on outside of that.
Sure.
And my time blocking becomes the middle of the day, or it becomes late at night.
Well,
or
so
whatever.
time blocking and call blocking maybe would be two different things. I have to sort of call block because I have a large book of business of typically Zillow, Realtor.com, those types of referrals where I can get dinged if I don't reach out to these people.
Gotcha.
But for your business, I'd imagine if you have enough people coming in, you're not necessarily obligated to reach out. I don't know how your lead generation works, but I think that with me, it's such a vicious cycle and I did it twice this month where you close and then you're looking for business, and then you close and you're looking for business. And if you're not doing both, there's no pattern for success.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that? How do you feel about that? I'm
No,
teeing you up.
I mean, I feel like it's great. I think that it comes from, like, really when you find, I mean, once you, like, start to have set places, so, like, instead of, like, close looking for business, have 3 different things set up to where you're never actually, like, so you don't, like, it's different because I have to do so many more deals to what you do off of one, right? So it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit difficult from your perspective.
Sure.
Only because when you have incoming sources, that's tougher to find than my incoming sources as a real estate agent. That's just my opinion on it.
Really?
Truthfully, only because I don't know. I'm just a lone guy. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel
If
that
we
way,
change
but-
places for a day, we'd both be saying that the other job is harder. You know?
Right.
Right.
Well, that and you have a couple different services you can offer, right? You know, like you can give people advice on what they can do with their current loan, like in their equity in their house, and then you can also write a new loan, you know, refinance. So, you know,
Even
like
a car loan.
Yeah.
I mean, people will come to me for all kinds of reasons. I just told people I was a banker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't ever tell them I'm a loan officer. I'm just a banker.
I need a car loan right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk to a bank? Like, sure, I'm that banker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while that can be burdensome because they want to talk to you about all kinds of stuff that you don't even handle,
Yeah.
you still talk to them.
Well, how does the call get through to you? I mean, are you talking about people you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm always trying to go that route as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we have a big enough network between everybody that we know to where if, like, you can go that route. And I don't start with the inner circle. I do, like, the outer circle.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the pressure on the people that I know at all.
Right.
Yeah, so I
Right.
did the same thing in insurance. So like I didn't really work my close circle, like, you know, of my families and friends, because in my head I was like, if those people know what I do, if they needed my help, they'll give me a call. You know, they'll always be there. I wanted to learn how to get outside the box, start meeting people who needed what I did, you know, that I didn't know. You know what I mean? How do I get people to team me up, you know? And, you know, like, shout out to my boss for a second. Like, that's what he taught me. You know what I mean? Get out, take a lunch with the mortgage lender, you know, go get some beers with the mortgage lender, go get shit house with the mortgage lender. Do what you got to do. But, you know, like.
So your boss told us to do that then?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was work related.
No, but just learning how to do that stuff. And, you know, like, I think that's kind of what Mick's talking about is, like, do you have to call block, you know, like, to keep teeing those opportunities up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so important. I think I definitely went off the ledge on his question. Right now, I can't block it.
Yeah.
But normally, that is a regular
That's
routine.
very important. Yeah.
Very important stuff because it's always got to be going this way.
Yeah.
We've always got to be reaching outward and not just people reaching inward.
Always progressing.
Even if you're super busy. So I've actually been super stressed out about that lately because I'm not. And that bothers me because I know that, you know, it's a refi boom.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the refi boom lasts forever. And then
Yeah.
what happens? Does it just shut off like a light switch? And then it's different,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we've always got to
And nobody knows. You know, like, nobody's been through something like this before.
I was
This
just
isn't your
going to say
typical
that
recession.
too. I mean, everything's just so unfamiliar. I just wonder if there's, I mean, obviously you're doing all you can and you're being solicited enough as it is, but I think this is a great opportunity for that exact, you know, for that opportunity to explain to people, like, again, yeah, everything's so unfamiliar that, like, look at the positive aspects that come from everything. Rates are lower, you know, than they've ever been. I would think that people who don't really know, you know, like my neighbors across the street from me just sold their house, and honestly, I thought, I have no idea how this is going to go for them. I don't know if this is the best time in the world to sell a house or the worst time in the world to sell a house. Sure enough.
Best. If you're
Yeah.
in South City, it's the best.
Sure enough, you know, I mean, yeah, maybe barring the area you're in and other, you know, foreseen and unforeseen circumstances. But, yeah, sure enough, they were telling me they were getting bites left and right, you know, and they ended up getting everything and more.
It's
I couldn't have told you that, you know. I wouldn't have known because that's not my field.
what do they say? An unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
Yeah.
That's what you got going on in South City right now. I had a 45-minute meeting on that today.
Yeah. I mean, our neighbors, straight up, I think, I don't want to speak out of turn. What's up, neighbors? Hopefully they're listening as well. Got to formally introduce ourselves still. But I know that they moved back here from L.A. because it was just, they saw an opportunity. And it was just like it was just too good to pass up, so they literally picked up and moved back from LA, which is
Wow.
pretty gnarly.
It's
to
not
South
because
City.
of the environment like you think. I mean, there's some hesitation, no doubt. South City just hit a 5-year low in inventory. Inventory meaning houses on the market, but also there's a certain cycle where people are moving every 5 to 7 years. Where maybe 3 years ago people took advantage of some situations like the current market and went ahead and bought.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we just happen to be in the cycle where people aren't selling because they're still happy. They're still in that less than 5, less than 7 year turn, which sort of collided with this COVID environment where people are just shacked up.
Right.
And so it's really interesting where it's not so much a negative thing. It's just sort of a natural thing that's going on with the market right now. So if you do want to sell, it's great. But if you don't, it's completely normal for you to still be in your house right now. Everything's kind of fine. It's really funky when you look at the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense overall, but that's another thing that I think directly correlates to what we were discussing earlier is that, you know, what I texted in the group the other day, what's ET say? I don't know how to explain it any better than winners win.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, there are people sitting back right now
Tough
crunching
shout
the
out
numbers.
to my dad on that one. He got an earful the other night.
Let's see if Mr. K is listening as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, I don't think he's listening.
But the
man. He
general
might.
gist is that, you know, a lot of people sat back. They had some free time on their hands, and rather than just sitting on their hands and pouting and doing nothing, maybe they understood, okay, it's time to sell my house or it's time to look for a new place to upgrade, whatever the case may be. So
Or start a
I
business.
think that speaks to, or start a
Renovate.
business, whatever you're going to do. Shouts out PRGS.
John, I know you listen to the podcast like you always do,
Yep.
but
Religiously.
I went on a bit of a rant of people that just are waiting for the year to be over because I keep hearing that exact verbiage, even though there's no certainty that just ending this year is going to make anyone's life better.
Yeah, there's certainly no finite date on any of this.
And
so.
then only a week later, my father looked at me and said, "I'm just waiting for this year to be over." And I was
man.
sitting on his couch, and I was like, "What did you just like?" My own dad, dude. Now he has less to prove.
I was
He's
just going to say, let me
64.
be fair. I think the lack of energy and the fact that he's already done, you know, he's paid his dues.
He did
So I
just
think
lose
maybe
8
that's his
pounds.
sentiment.
He's been at the gym every day, but it's like, I mean, you lost 8 pounds. You've been to the gym every day, so that's why.
Yeah, I want to get a training day in with Mr. K,
You know?
dude. I want to see
He
what
kind of
that's
taught you
like.
everything you knew.
You know what? It's funny. I was showing somebody the other day, very short little segue real quick, but I was actually showing somebody the other day. We were doing some max out work, and I showed him this little trick that I learned back in the day. Call it a trade secret. But what's funny is, back when Powerhouse existed, rest in peace, Emo and I were getting down one day when we just knew nothing. I mean, we would go in there every day and lift all the same muscle groups, you know what I'm saying? Like literally twice a day, and then we'd practice soccer on 4 days a week. It was just
Don't forget
absurd.
about Steve Glass. Glass was
Glass,
there too.
what's up? Can jump over houses. That's partly to do with it. But anyways, Mix Pops came over one day and he showed us this little formula for maxing out, and I still use it to this day. So yeah, that's
What is
not
it?
being too facetious. So you take 50% of whatever you're going for maxing out, you bench that once, then you take 75% of that, you bench that twice, and then you hit whatever you're gonna max out. That way you got those muscles stimulated and ready to rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby.
Damn.
Yeah.
I need to take that to heart.
I feel like my shoulder will fall off.
I'm the guy
Well,
that had
does that mean I'm the
shoulder
oldest
surgery.
here?
Yeah. My left shoulder is literally held together with a piece of string and a plastic molly. That's not a joke.
Yeah,
That's
I-
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that's
I feel you on
built
that.
for everybody, but yeah, it is a little trick to the trade. for sure.
Glass used to tell me that when you were working out with Mixed Dad, you guys were working out with Mixed Dad. So like, this was probably at the time when I was benching like 135 on a good day, you know. And he's like, "Pfft, you could do 225. Just don't think about it."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Straight
I was
up.
like, what do you mean, just black out and just try to lift it?
Yeah.
Out? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you a lift off. And he's like, once you get it off the rack, just drop it and put it up. And I was like, dude, it ain't gonna work. I like snapped my triceps trying to do it. And I was like, I can't add another
Wait, was
90
my dad
pounds.
spotting you, or was Steve Glass,
Glass.
spotting? Oh, there's your
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. There was a little bit lost in translation
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
for
yeah.
surely.
Next
I
time.
do remember one more shout out to Mr. K though. We were this I still take to heart somewhat too, depending on the gym I'm at. But if I'm at like a powerhouse type place, a bigger weightlifting place, people are more comfortable there. I remember we would always go to take the last 45 on each side off the bar, and Mr. Classic would say, "No, leave that there, because if they can't lift it, then they don't
You
deserve
still
to be
say
on
that.
the bench."
That was that's why Powerhouse
Give
was
it
the
to
best gym. dude. It
Powerhouse
was-
rules, man.
Man, I remember one time being in there with Tony Mazuka late at night. We used to go every Wednesday night when I would get off work at about 10 or 11 p.m. because you can do that in high school and just bounce back the next day. You know, no big
it's
deal.
Great too.
And this guy says, "Hey, will you spot me?" And I thought, sure. I thought he just meant me. He meant the both of us.
Yeah.
So I turn around and he has taken his shirt off.
Oh,
Of course.
And he's a big steroid freak.
Yeah.
And he is shoulder pressing over his head 2 120-pound dumbbells. So he
Oh.
wanted.
That's light work, but yeah, I feel you.
It might have been more, dude, because Powerhouse had dumbbells that went up to.
Up to
yeah,
150. Yeah, I
150,
used to have a rule that I couldn't join a gym that had less than 100-pound dumbbells
Yeah,
because of
and he's-
Powerhouse.
Oh,
yeah.
He's
dude.
throwing them up, so he has these two 16-year-olds on each elbow, making sure that he gets it off. But I just love that at Powerhouse you could take your shirt off and nobody blanked.
Oh
Dude.
yeah, nobody even looked.
Yeah.
Nobody even batted
That
an eye.
place is a solid slice of my heart and where progress will go. I will tell you that much. When progress gets to full brick and mortar, we're definitely going to have a little bit
The
of
minute they tried
Powerhouse
to make it a
mentality in there.
CrossFit gym was when I just knew.
Again,
we don't
They
gotta
took
get
they
into
took
that.
the
Let's
punching
keep it
bag out and
moving.
made it a CrossFit gym. You
Well,
know,
it speaks true to don't dilute your product. Stay true
Yeah.
to who you are. You know what I'm saying?
nothing against CrossFitters. Is
No,
that why
If
you're
we
trying
not
can
to
at
turn
all.
anything into a positive, you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be.
I will tell you, I just watched the other guys the other day, and I just decided that, when Mark,
You ever do a desk pop?
when Mark Wahlberg says he does that little
Surprised you guys
dance
didn't try
off.
to do that to me when I got in here.
He does that little dance off when he's talking to his girlfriend, and then he says, "Where'd you learn to dance like that?" And he says, "I learned how to do it to make fun of the fairy down the street." I will tell you, I'm thinking about getting into CrossFit just to see what it's all about, because I kind of just want to win one of those competitions, just to tell them all at the end that I don't like CrossFit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
something, yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, back to what we were talking about before.
I think we're probably
going
going to move on
progress.
to W's, to be honest with you.
All right.
Wait,
Colin was over there scribbling.
no,
Yeah,
I was
he's
just
got a
ma-
whole
I'm
page
just
of
making.
This
stuff.
boy ate his Wheaties today. He
I'm
showed up
making
with a
notes.
blank notebook. He's got
He's
3-4 pages.
He's
deep.
got a page, and then he's even got the side filled in on like the center of the book.
Yeah, I'm making notes. Do you have a fitness routine, John, that you've been following, or?
As much as I can right now. I'm getting an MRI on my knee tomorrow.
What happened?
Unbelievable.
Softball.
Honestly, I've just been running.
You are the
It's
oldest guy
softball.
here, aren't you?
Maybe it was softball, maybe it was running, whatever.
You've been
Like,
running on concrete or grass?
concrete.
No
Yeah.
good.
I know it, dude.
No good.
I need to be on this progress train.
Telling you, bro.
You do.
Come get
That's
some.
what
You
I
never
need.
get a slot.
Come get some.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Again, I do this every episode. You do need to shout him out and go give him a chance. Like, he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like, and obviously my opinion is biased. This is my cousin and my best friend, but
And we have the same mind. So really all my thing is I know how to, I've told people forever, like, fitness for me is a byproduct of quelling my mind. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And the way you set up those workouts is
it's to go to exhaustion.
it
It's
will,
to find a clear space
and
in
I
your
kind of
head.
like lose myself in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can just get some hard work in, and then when it's done, you're like 25, 30 minutes,
Bingo.
and you're done, and you're still
you're
cranked
like,
up. Like, I
what?
go right back to the office.
2, 3,
That's
4, 500 calories for 30, 40 minutes. What?
That
Yeah.
that and
let's go.
like my joints don't hurt, you know what I mean? Like my elbows, my knees, nothing really hurts, you know. So and I like how you always make sure to do some stretching at the end.
Gots to.
But
That's perfect.
Most
yeah.
key element.
yeah, man, I just wanted to know, like, what do you think contributes most to your success, John? Like,
Well, that's...
what quality of yourself do you think contributes most to your success?
Oh, man.
I think he was born with it.
That's tough. That's... I mean, it's drive,
Everybody
but it's
develops
like...
it.
It's knowing, like, that everybody's a person,
We have to do ourselves.
right?
Yeah.
We came from a place where if you were the janitor in the building, we were still your friend.
Yeah.
Like, we were never too good for anybody.
Yeah.
And that janitor just might have known 3 people that knew 3 people that took you to millionaires, right?
Yeah.
So just caring about people and the drive to get told no and the drive to push through stuff, honestly.
To get told no, that's a big one. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a lot of people quit because they're hearing too many no's? Would you say, like in financial services, shit, even mortgages? I feel like a lot of good people, a lot of talented people get into these industries and quit because it's too hard, you know? I mean,
Well, it's stressful.
yeah.
It's stressful. You're dealing with something that's super important to somebody else, and
Yeah.
you're dealing with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Potentially the biggest investment they'll ever make.
Right. And so taking that seriously and genuinely caring about the person across the table and not just the number.
Treating them like a
that's on.
number. Yeah.
But I like what
Exactly.
you said because, you know, like we come from a place where even if you're the janitor, everybody gave everybody the time of day. It costs $0 for you to give somebody the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that might not be the client for you, but they might know 3-4 more, you know? Like we were
Exactly.
talking
That's
about
my
earlier.
thing, yeah.
Chop one head off, 2 more grow. You really do never know. I kind of just experienced what a strong lender can do for you the other day. I had a gal.
Was
Talk-
it John?
I have an in-house lender. John's gonna refi my
Next.
house though.
Yeah, we
in
got it.
February. We talked about that. So I had a gal who ended up buying a house on Friday, and she told me Thursday afternoon that she was going to wait 5 days for a credit union to give her a pre-approval. We bought Friday. If she would have waited until Tuesday or whatever that would have been, there's no way she would have kept the house. So
Especially right now, man. That's
especially
gone.
right now, yeah. So it's so important, and it's important that you hear it out of my mouth instead of John's mouth. But it's so important that when you want to buy a house, that you have somebody who has quick turnaround times, who's willing to work long hours, and has high communication skills. And I think all 3 of those, whether you're working from home, you're working from the office, it's pretty clear that you dialed yourself into just the perfect industry for you, and that's
Right.
really, really great to see.
True on that. Which I was actually.
He's drunk.
You know, it's somewhat lucky, I
beers
guess,
in.
throughout life, but really learning about yourself first, and then figuring out where do I belong, I guess. But yeah, garbage to wait that long for a pre-approval. I mean, that screws over your realtor. That screws over yourself. I mean, you really are doing yourself a disservice by getting in line somewhere and waiting forever for something that could be done within 15, 20 minutes if you
And
fill out the application.
like you said, so that lender just screwed up an opportunity of that real estate agent to send him another referral. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's you're always on. You always have to be on if it's somebody teeing you up for something. You know,
Exactly.
like-
And here's the thing, I think
Because I'm
there's
making you look like a fool.
I think there's
Yeah.
a larger sentiment here, which is what we always try to reiterate at some point during the show, which is what everything, I mean, literally the name Sons of St. Louis is based off of. South City specifically for us, but, you know, the community at large is like, it's a community that we understand that if you're there for each other, then you flourish. Like I always finish, as cheesy as this is, every progress post with help others, help yourself. Because if you are striving to help others first and foremost, whether it be business, personally, you know, professionally, whatever the case may be, if your bottom line is to make sure that others are doing better around you, then that's going to be reciprocated back to you. And that's just literal, I call it
Especially in
simple
this
physics. You know
neighborhood,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like the law of attraction is real. So if you just want the best for everyone else, then how is that community around you not going to not only want the best for you, but help you be the best version of yourself?
Absolutely.
So it's a very simple concept. So I just wanted to relay that it's more than just business practice, you know, like it's literal life
Makes you
practice.
feel good
and
too,
I
yeah.
think our community forged that, which is why we feel so indebted and, you know, feel the need
Pay it forward.
to use, our opportunities to give back, because that's how we've all come up.
I think we need to move on
Very
to
true.
W's.
Let's hit it.
Who wants to start? I think Colin should start. And there's number 1 W. I know what it should be. Let's see if he says it.
Oh, my number 1 W is finally getting an opportunity to get mixed business.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
One number off. This
yeah.
is- whew.
You know,
I'll let you know how close you can be, ladies
it was
and gentlemen.
it was at Corey's diaper party where I was just sitting in his ear like, so who's quoting your home, dude? Who's quoting your home? And oh my God,
You see how this kid uses me bringing a life into this planet to
Yep.
poach my own
Doesn't
business,
matter.
man,
Hey,
from one
if
of my
life's
oldest
going
best
out
friends.
or if
I
life's
get it.
coming in,
But I
Colin's
did
selling
say
it, don't matter.
quote unquote. I was like, dude, why are you
No pun intended.
using Zach Rodgers? You should be using Corey or myself.
This
And
is
you're
true.
like,
no
oh,
offense,
should I?
Zachary.
And then you left probably like 15 minutes afterwards. I think you were in a
Well,
cranky.
He
ass
said
mood
these dudes
that
are
day.
hounding
I
me.
did. Well, yeah.
I mean, come here to
I
talk
had baggage
business.
with
Yeah.
me. You remember who that was?
Yeah.
We're not going to say his name, but I had to carry a heavy load that day.
That's
Well, yeah,
true.
Zach was the first one that reached out to me when I bought my house, and he got my business for 2 years, but then he quit, and now it's yours.
Sweet.
What
Yeah,
do they
Sweet,
say?
sweet. Well, that's the
Timing
first
beats
W.
speed, right? So boom, there's your timing.
Yeah.
Second half W. I only say half because it's a really good opportunity. So I had a presentation last Monday that I'm still waiting to hear word on. So it's a pretty big contractor that would pretty much make my year, or hit my yearly quota. So I'm still waiting to hear back on it, and we'll still probably go back and forth a couple times. They don't really come up until like mid-September. So there's a lot of things that have to happen during those presentations, or like after those presentations, his agent gets a chance, to take a look at everything. So there's some things that have to happen, but it's really looking good for us. And had a good conversation with him today, as in he hadn't talked to his other guy at all in the last 2 weeks, which means to me that they're probably just going to wait it out until the end of the year, to let their stuff lapse, or to write their stuff with me, and they probably don't have another option.
We talked about earlier, they're going to call it the deadline.
Yeah.
They're calling now.
Yeah.
That's all
Bingo.
it takes.
Exactly.
Just to be a tick ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You're doing exactly what's expected of you and more.
Yeah. So that should be a really good opportunity. So that's my 2 W's. Third W is having John on here. This was pretty cool.
It's been
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just want to
I
say.
think you're the
This is awesome.
honorary fourth horseman.
I
Yeah.
think you read my mind on that one
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Feels good. Feels good.
I would
being
like
here.
to have a few more where we just freestyle like this,
Yeah.
for surely. I mean, this wasn't a freestyle, obviously. John, I loved having you on. We wanted to
had
have
a
you
little
on
bit of a
specifically
direction.
for this cause. Right, yeah, we had direction. But
I
I
was
think
really excited to
when
have
we
you on.
don't have guests to highlight or charities to highlight, I think this John would be a phenomenal
fit.
fourth party for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah,
I was
feels
really
good.
excited to have you on. You're cut from the same cloth.
I'm getting
as
that
everybody
tingle.
at this table.
I'm getting
This
that tingle.
is a perfect time for John to do his W's over the last couple weeks.
Well, here,
What-
actually, I got one more. Have you been involved, or do you know any local charities that you've worked with over the past couple years that you think we should get involved with, or anybody that you can shout out now? Or
Oh, man.
if you don't, no big deal. I
Super
don't mean
on
to
the
put you on the
spot.
spot.
I do.
I should have asked you before. We should have
My
prepped this.
dad.
It's all-
Gotta be
there's
ordained.
one
Recorded live.
there's one that goes through St. George. Shout out St. George.
After
Doesn't
food
exist
pantry.
anymore, but
Shouts out.
Afton Food Pantry.
I guess that's what they call it now. But
Yeah.
they used to call it St. Vincent de Paul or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I will say that my dad goes around. He works at Vijon. They make soap and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he'll go around and use everybody else's freebies in the store, in the work store, where it's like mislabeled products and stuff. And he goes and grabs everybody's freebies that he can, and he'll bring them directly to that charity because he knows and he sees the people.
Yeah.
And sometimes he knows the people from church or whatnot that actually get the benefit of that.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't
what's
know
up.
for sure. Never done it myself other than through him, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
if he believes
donated
in
there
it,
a couple
then-
times, and those people are really good people, and that like there is a lot of work that goes in on the back end too for them to keep an inventory. They know what they need. Anyway, that was a
I've
good
never
one.
looked them up on that site or
Yeah.
whatever to see, what trickles down, but
I'm on their side daily. No, I'm just joking.
he
they're
might
good.
be.
They're
Anyway,
good.
I'll share a spotlight. Mick, you got any W's or?
No, John's doing
Oh,
it.
John.
Come on.
Oh, I'm doing W's.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, number one W being on the podcast, baby.
Woo!
What up?
Yeah.
Made it. No, W's, man.
As hard as you work, dude. What
It's-
happened in the last week that's been...
And it doesn't got to be exactly professionally related. That's what I'm always here to reiterate.
In the
is
week.
Anything
Yeah.
in your life, anything.
You can shout out your grandma.
Anything that... anything that was a
W's,
good
man.
happening, you know what I'm saying?
W's, we went to, I actually took a day off, and I know this is not work related. I got work
No,
ones
this is
too.
fantastic.
But I took a Friday off, and I booked a boat on that Friday at Table Rock, and I did that so I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I
So you
did
stayed on
not
a boat?
have
Bingo.
a phone, and I set up everything accordingly so that anybody that needed to be contacted would be, you
Yeah.
know, and I got permission for it or whatever. But that day was super important to me because I haven't given a whole lot of attention to my girlfriend
Or
or
yourself.
myself,
Your mind. Yeah.
and just really shutting it all down. And that's huge for me.
It really is.
Because if
I
I don't
love
shut
that.
That should
myself
be
down,
huge
I'll-
for everybody.
you guys, now I'll run myself straight into the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Exactly.
stay up.
Impossible.
And how long can you possibly stay up for before you crash?
Before you
It's
just
impossible,
burn.
man.
At the end of that trip, did you notice you had a little bit like you felt clear?
Yeah.
and like your mind felt a little lighter.
Definitely.
Right?
And
that's how I
notice
feel
a
every
lot.
time I go camping. I think everybody.
And
needs
here's
to
a
get in the
perfect segue for a cheap plug, but this is always what I'm
Always a
reiterating.
perfect
I mean,
segue for a cheap
honestly,
plug.
because look, it always comes back to
Paid
working out is
advertising.
just one of the best microcosms and metaphors for your life in general, right? But I tell people every time they come in two things. One, I'm going to work you till you fail, and a bunch of people hate that. They don't like going to where they can't go anymore. I say, if we don't get to exhaustion, then we're not making the ultimate progress, right? Then we're not progressing forward. You literally want to work your muscles till they fail. That way they adapt and get better. And two, recovery is just as key, almost more necessary than the work that you're putting in, because you're making sure to break your body down. So you want to work so hard that on those days when you take a time for yourself, when you set some time aside, that you can't possibly have any anxiety, any type of, mental stress on yourself, because all right, I've worked myself to exhaustion, and not only did I earn this day, I literally have to take this day. So that's what you did on that Friday, which is what I'm always expressing to people, and from a physical means of like, listen, do some stretching, do whatever, light cardio, but make sure you take some time to recover, rest. So that's what you're doing mentally and professionally on those days, which is
Yeah.
hugely key.
You
I
have
love
to
that
be.
you
Very
said
true.
that. I
Yeah,
love that
very
you said
true.
that.
I think
I'm
this
glad
would
that
be
you put it that way,
Yeah.
because that made more sense to me even than to saying it. Like
It's a
hearing you,
microcosm,
like,
baby.
That day off made me realize a lot.
Yeah.
So that was
Right.
cool.
And you get more growth and PRGS from
just
it.
hanging with this dude, I've learned to balance myself out a little bit. I don't mean to
Gotta have
to
it.
really stroke your ego today, but I just am
know,
hard.
I mean,
and it's really killing
I was
me.
I'm
about to
vi-
start stroking it.
I'm
It's
vibrating
really
at like my
killing me.
highest frequency. Let's just
but
say
he
it.
really,
So it's
he
all right.
really
Then he
has,
goes
has
up there.
kept me in check, and I fought it for a long time. But I don't know. There's something to that. You have to take your time.
It's moderation and balance, baby. That's the universe.
Especially
You
now,
know what I'm
because
saying?
there
You
are
gotta
probably
find your
nights
balance.
where you're working into 7, 8, 9 o'clock, or
later than
maybe
that.
even later than that. Yeah. And
Exactly.
Yeah. So
And
that's-
those nights are
that's good.
worth it, but again, you gotta avoid that burnout. So
But are
you
they,
do
though?
that to make it.
They
Well,
are.
you do that to make those days that you recover, those days that you feel that you have to schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like I always said, I made a joke a few years ago. My pops, the only time you ever see him just let his shoulders down is when we're at like a family meal. He'll literally go around the table, make sure everybody's taken care of on like a Friday night, and then he'll just, for like 2 seconds, let his shoulders just relax. And I realized, like, okay, that's his time. You know what I'm saying? He understands. For 2 seconds, he gets to relax,
Yeah,
and that's
dude.
bliss. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's literally 2 seconds.
I mean, literally 2 seconds, but that's his bliss. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got some guys coming up, so let's go ahead and wrap things
we
up.
got like 8 minutes. You got
I'll
any
save my,
Ws, dude?
okay, well, real quick then. I got 2 W's in particular, like Cuzzy was just talking about way earlier in the podcast. I have kind of not only made sure to perfect my craft, but, not wanted to really, like, pressure the people in my inner circle, Nick in general. Now he just goes and gives his fucking business to Cuzzy, but,
It
I
was
had-
a fair fight.
yeah, I
What do you
dig
want me
it.
to do?
I haven't wanted to pressure my people, so I just had one of my in-laws reach out, and I just went over her coverage real quick, and I gave her the same thing I give everybody, and she even emphasized to me, like, look, bottom line sticker price, and I said, okay, look, that's cool. We'll get there, but this first set of quotes I send you, I'm going to write it as if I would write it for myself, like I do to every single potential client, and then we can deviate from there, you know what I'm saying, and dictate things accordingly. After I wrote
Well,
everything
if,
out
if
for her.
things don't work out with Colin, I'll give you a call.
That's word. That's very word. And then, come in progress. We'll get a session, and you know how it goes.
I just sent you an email.
Help you clear that mind a little. But the moral of the story is that once I got done explaining everything to her, I got done explaining to her what her current coverage was, what would happen in these type of hypothetical situations if she ever needed to utilize that coverage. And I said, honestly, this doesn't even make sense from the current agent who wrote its, perspective, because I'm like, you have coverage that doesn't make any sense, and it's not even like it's maximized for his commission. You know what I'm saying? So I said, this is really just somebody not paying attention. And so I explained everything to her. Thank you very much. Cheers. And the moral of the story is that now she's willing
Always
to pay a little
appreciate it.
bit more on the premium than she actually has, because this is the first time in 40 years of having insurance. Don't want to, give away the in-laws' age, but, and all that time, nobody ever explained to her what exactly she was even purchasing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So she always just wanted bottom line.
You should have known that by
whatever.
saying bottom line.
Yeah,
once you
and
said
so
bottom line.
she just wanted to see, she just didn't want sticker shock. So I gave her some sticker shock. Our price was actually even, like within $100 cheaper, but I explain, like, look at all the extra coverage you're getting, and this is the stuff you're going to need if you ever have to utilize it. So that was huge to me because, one, on a personal level, again, I'm not trying to sell my in-law. You know what I'm saying? Just like every client, I want to make sure that they're totally taken care of and covered, because the biggest thing I don't want is somebody calling me and bickering about having a loss that's not covered because they really didn't want it, but you're never going to hear that from them. You know what I'm saying?
To vent about Colin.
Well, see, this is what I say. We're like Coke and Pepsi. We're just like like really we're owned under the same umbrella, but like people will vehemently argue back and forth. And then two, I had another referral reach out from an agency that I was previously with who had the same exact issue that you are currently having, and I wasn't even going to bother to bring it up, but it's so amazing because this guy reached out to me. He said, hey, my renewal's coming up, and this was like 6 months ago. His renewal's actually just now coming up. He said, when my renewal comes up, though, can I speak to you? Because nobody reached out to let me know that you weren't even my agent anymore, and I don't know who my current agent is. And I said, yeah, that's a huge folly on their part. And I apologized to him for not being able to reach out and even express that I couldn't be his agent currently, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't have any of his contact information or anything. But that was huge for me to just let him know, like, hey, this is where you're at, and this is what I can do for you in the future. So communication is key. That's the moral of that story.
Damn right.
All I got is 2 more deals on the same day yet again. On Friday, had a cash deal. Worked out well in a condo. And then I had a gal in Lindenwood Park. Went ahead and bought a house with me. So got really, really close to my first $1 million month. Didn't get it.
Are you going to speak to the...
What's
are you going to
up?
speak
This
about
guy's
the
got
one?
no class. He's dropping numbers.
The big one, what?
Are you going to speak about the one that fell into your lap, or are we not? Are we just holding on to that one?
Yeah, man. So 2 accepted contracts is nice, but you still have to close, right? So I have some closings on the 6th, and I have some closings on the 24th. I'm more comfortable about the ones on the 6th. We'll see about the 24th. Either way, if you have the opportunity to do, 4 houses a month, you got to jump on it. So I really feel like I'm getting back to the way I was trending before this COVID environment. And then I did have some good stuff fall in my lap. You're right. And you guys don't know the details yet, so I'm not particularly comfortable talking about it on comfortable
We'll get
or
there.
on camera. But yeah, potential land deal.
Hell yeah.
Worth multi-millions. Kind of fell in my lap. I did have one referral on a home from the same guy, so he dropped that nugget, and then the next night.
And I'll tell you what, you let Cuzzy take your home and auto, and then when they need an insurance referral for that potential land deal, that's when you come
send
your
it
boy.
to you
You
to
know what
even
I'm
it out.
saying? You
That
know what
quick
I'm
one,
saying?
And then actually,
all
too,
he's saying is yours is too small for him.
That's
all he's saying.
Maybe that is what. Hey, that's exactly what I'm saying. You're damn right. I'm gonna own that shit. You're damn right. That's what I'm saying.
says the guy with 3 jobs.
That's
Anyway,
hilarious.
but then and then I had one lead that I hadn't talked to since February reached out, kind of came out of nowhere with a 5 condo package downtown.
Damn.
So yeah, lots of high dollar stuff, which is always nice. But like we talked about earlier, you got to give everybody the time of day, because when I first met her, it was a $134,000 house.
Straight
and
up.
then now she's got a 5 condo
it is.
referral.
The moral of the story: opportunity is there, folks.
Guys, we're gonna
Let's
do a
cheers to
Jello
those
shot.
W's.
Cheers to the matching shoes.
Hey.
Matching
Singular.
shoe.
It's
Oh,
singular.
excuse
It's
me.
singular. Thank you guys.
For waiting for us, but
We
I
apologize. Thank you so much for your
do
patience.
kind of like that at the end of all of our podcasts, you can hear the next folks coming in, because that is what Overtime Studio's about. They're the hardest working folks in the business.
It's definitely an organic feel.
John Haberberger, if somebody has to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Well, you can email me. I mean, what do you want me to spell it out, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
You gotta
a
let 'em know.
long email, brother.
Well, do you want people to contact you or not, John?
It'll be
all
in
that time you spent explaining, just
it'll
hit
be
it.
in the title.
It'll
Just
be in the title. I
want
got
your
you.
email
So we
address
can
out
put
there.
that in the title. It's
What's
a
your
long
phone
last
number?
name,
Yeah.
and the Midwest Bank Center spelled with the R-E, the fancy way. I don't know why they do that.
Okay.
Phone number 314-412-4308. Let's keep that.
Dude, this
Hopefully
is
to
this
good
is
people.
worldwide. This is worldwide.
Yeah.
Good.
Colin,
Can't
what
wait.
you got? How do they get a hold
Look,
of
they're
you?
coming in.
Yeah, already. Email me my first dot last name at Crawford Butts. Butts is BUTZ.com. And then my cell phone 314-805-3083.
Corey, what you got?
Main line right now, PRGS_fitness24 on Instagram, or you can get at me, Corey Donovan at ATINSUR.com for your insurance needs as well.
My favorite is Zillow right now. Just search my last name, Klasek. I'm the only one in the state. Next episode, we got the Buddy Fun. 2 weeks after that, on the 24th, we've got Pedal the Cause. And then I think John Haberberger's here to stay. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're coming back. I think we're coming back.
I got
for
that
sure.
tingle.
Coming
That's
back.
for sure.
All right,
sure.
boys. Good work today.
All right. Later, everyone.
Peace.
Appreciate it.
Dude, thanks for coming, dude. You have fun?
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
That was good. I learned stuff.